This is Julie Jordan Scott, and we're going to be reading poems from this book, The Wonder of Small Things. James Cruz is the editor, and he has done really a remarkable job with this collection. We're going to start today with a poem about tree hugging. If you've been around for a while, you know how much I love tree hugging. And we're going to end with a poem that's literally called An Ode to Butter. An Ode to Butter. Now, I've been known to favor foods that hold butter well, let's just say that. So I'm very excited to take us through these poems. If you would like this live, I would appreciate it very much. That helps. If you've done that already, thank you. If you have any thoughts or questions or want to engage with one another there, hey, how nice. It's nice to be companionable, convivial over meal prep, etc. So nice to know that you're both here. Hello, good to see you. Ms. M, I hope you love these. It's from the same collection or the same editor as I've read from before. So I think you'll like these. From Tree Hugging. Hi, Simply Debbie Sue. Tree hugging, there's just a lot of beautiful nature in here. And when I saw the Ode to Butter, I said, we're gonna end with that one. So here we go. We're just going to get started. By the way, I'm curious what Kay and Ro are making for lunch. That sounds like fun. So whether you've eaten your meal or not, I'm really grateful you're here. I know some of you have had lunch. It's 10 o'clock here on the West Coast. Hey, Ninj, how's it going? If y'all didn't know, I am in California right now. I'm in Central California in the beautiful Central Valley, best known for things like the Grapes of Wrath. I know, it's John Steinbeck territory. If you ever saw The Grapes of Wrath, part of that was filmed actually right near where I used to live, in Bakersfield. So it's been really foggy. Today I was out walking in the fog and juggling in the fog. Ooh, leftover enchiladas is a good thing. Some pasta. Okay, so the Ode to Butter comes at a perfect time. So we'll start with Hugging the Tree, which is by Zaina Azam. It was neither part of a protest nor a statement to the world. I simply put my arms around a tall oak and stood in embrace, our bodies juxtaposed. There was no swaying. Her trunk, solid and true, felt like an ancestor, a pillar thick with years. Her bark scratched my skin if I moved, so I stayed still. It was a time to be calm and reflect on our presence together, to look up to the sky and fathom the height of my partner, to inhale the earthy scent, to arc my grateful arms around the strong matriarch and whisper into the wood my wordless secret. I have not hugged anyone for months, my dear tree. When I became a bona fide tree hugger back in 2020 was when I started my 377-day experiment. And one of the reasons I started with that experiment at that time period was because I couldn't hug people. We were on lockdown, and so there were very few people that I could hug. So it's good to see you all here. Welcome. We're reading poems. We just finished reading a poem about tree hugging, and I'll keep going. I love seeing you all talk in the comment section. Good to see you, Kim. And Ken wrote, Bakersfield's come up in several shows you've been watching. I wonder if they're like crime shows or something, because Bakersfield tends to have some pretty notorious crimes for a town of its size. Anyway, with that, I'll go on. They didn't talk about me. I'm just kidding. Home in the Woods by Linda Hogan. And I would say this is one that Kay and Ro would really enjoy as hikers. Here we go. Oh, home in the woods. I am here as one hungry to eat, one with no bread in the garden of trees, in a place where the stone wishes to blossom. Bullets have gone to sleep, and with effort the water flows the way it once did. Here, in winter, there is enough dry wood for heat, and I enter smiling, forgetting our history. Can you bring me to the place where pollen is now the light, and we remember the original song? Can you keep me here? Can you unharm me? That last line. Speaking to the forest or the woods. Can you keep me here? Can you unharm me? And that hits home too. One of the friends I used to hike with, I would say, you know, we all hike our own hike. And one of the reasons that I love, yes, Debbie Sue. One of the reasons I love the Appalachian Trail so much is because I hiked there with my dad when I was a little girl. And I know not all of us get to do fun outdoors things when we were kids. So I was blessed to be able to do that with my dad. And then there was a dark time where there was no outdoor play. Hi, Pam. We have a bunch to go, a bunch of poems to go. Pam loves poetry like me. Yes, yes, that line, can you keep me here? Can you unharm me? And I think the woods can do that. And that's what that's what I'm getting to, is that the woods are very healing. And so even though there was a dark time when there was no time in the woods, I'm grateful to be able to get back into the woods. Just one more story before we continue is that I have two brothers who are no longer here. Two brothers who died, and my brother right below me died in 2007, which is just unbelievable now. 19 years. How's that possible? And when he died, my parents were site stewards in Northwest Arizona, which means all that BLM land, the Bureau of Land Management. The Bureau of Land Management land, they oversaw a portion of it. And so they would go to all of these sites and make sure there wasn't graffiti, make sure that that nothing was being harmed. And so they knew a perfect spot in Coconino National Forest where they could put some of John's cremains, some of his ashes. And when we went to visit it and have a picnic out there one day, my son, he was 9, and he looked around and he said, "This is a really nice cemetery." It is. The woods. Yes, it is really cool. You're right. It is very cool. They're called site stewards, and they got an award from the governor of Arizona as for their contributions to those efforts to protect the national lands. Okay, Pam, what have you been doing? Oh, yay! She's gathering up her poems that are off in the different directions. Pam, that's wonderful news. Wonderful news. Yay. And yes, Ms. M, I wanted to go back to, you're in one of those dark places. And I'm grateful that you can come here and have this community to be with and hopefully help you to feel some light. Definitely feel some light. So this goes perfectly with that thought. This poem is called Nothing Wants to Suffer. Nothing Wants to Suffer. So I wrote a prompt for this for you to think about. So when you consider suffering, what images rise up in you? And if you feel called, jot a few notes as you listen to this poem, because it goes sort of in a different direction. It's very interesting and compelling. So nothing wants to suffer. Nothing wants to suffer. Not the wind as it scrapes itself against the cliff. Not the cliff being eaten slowly by the sea. The earth does not want to suffer the rough tread of those who do not notice it. The trees do not want to suffer the axe, nor see their sisters felled by root rot, mildew, rust. The coyote in its den, the puma stalking its prey, these too want ease and a tender animal in the mouth to take their hunger. An offering, one hopes, made quickly and without much suffering. The chair mourns an angry sitter, the lamp a scalded moth, a table the weight of years of argument. We know this, though we forget. Not the shark nor the tiger, fanged as they are, not the worm, content in its windowless world of soil and stone, not the stone resting in its riverbed, the riverbed gazing up at the stars. Least of all, the stars, ensconced in their canopy, looking down at all of us, their offspring, scattered so far beyond reach. That was Nothing Wants to Suffer by Danusha Lamaris. So nice hearing you all connect in the comments. I really am grateful for that. It's great that we have this place where we can do that. So what I loved about that poem is just thinking about things like this line really got to me, was the table. Where did it go? Oh yeah, the chair mourns an angry sitter. So if you're sitting on a chair, the thought of the chair mourning with you in your anger. And the lamp, a scalded moth. The lamp didn't want to scald that moth. And a table, the weight of years of argument. Just some food for thought today. Yes, scattered beyond reach. You hadn't heard it before? Yeah, it's beautiful. Again, Nothing Wants to Suffer. Danusha Lamaris. Danusha Lamaris. It's Lameris is the last name. I'll just look him up real quick in the back and see what it says about that poet, because I've never read that poet before. And that's one really good thing about reading a poetry collection like this one. I have tended in the past, this is the collection, I've tended in the past to focus in on one poet and read all of their poems, but I also like to read collections where I find new poets. So thank you, Miss M. I kind of specialize in that. Deep with meaning, that's me. When I was in a study group, people were always like, okay, here comes the submarine answer, everyone, whenever I would open my mouth. I can't help myself. Okay, so Danusha Lamaris is the author of 2 books, The Moons of August. Okay, this is something. The Moons of August, which was chosen by Naomi Shihab Nye as the winner of the Autumn House Press Poetry Prize, and Bonfire Opera, University of Pittsburgh Press, which won the Northern California Book Award. Winner of the Lucille Clifton Legacy Award, she teaches in the Pacific University Low Residency MFA program. Oh, she also co-leads with the editor, Hearthfire Writing Community. And she lives in Santa Cruz County, in California. Interesting. I wonder if she has any readings coming up. Okay. The Way We Love Something Small by Kimberly Blazer. The translucent claws of newborn mice, this pearl cast of color, the barely perceptible, like a ghosted threshold of being. Here, not here. The single breath we hold on the thinnest verge of sight, not there. There. A curve nearly naked, an arc of almost, a wisp of becoming, a wand, tiny enough to change me. That was The Way We Love Something Small by Kimberly Blazer. Also something to think about. Oh, okay. So yeah, Pam says, I've tended to focus on poems for junior high school students, but would like to branch out and not constantly think of how I can make a lesson out of it. I know that feeling. And yeah, these are really great collections. I got a collection, or I got 3 of these now because I just like them so much. And we have to train our minds, I think sometimes, Pam, those of us who've done a lot of teaching. Let's see how I can describe this without sounding like a jerk. I feel like being a teacher and teaching is really a gift. And we get so used to doing it all the time that sometimes it's a practice, for me, a spiritual practice, to not teach all the time and to step back. Just like in this poem, you know, the way that she talks about that tininess, and here I'm teaching it with it, the tininess of it, just giving space. That's why I love silence so much. One of the reasons is because when we are silent, it almost allows more to come through. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Hello, good to see you. Okay, I'm going to read Listen Back by Brooke McNamara. If you've been watching my shorts, you may remember this one, because I made a short with it. And some of you commented on it, so this is your chance to hear it again and see how it hits later. Because once, in my mind, once you hear a poem, read a poem, it's there in your mind. And yet when you come back later, you may hear totally different things, and it may touch you differently. So, okay, I'm glad it made sense to you, Em. Yes, to humbly receive. See, look at that. Pam, wonderful way to state it. Thank you. Pam said, yes, to not always teach, to humbly receive. Okay, here we go. Listen back. Stay here at the precipice, quiet. Quiet as the sun rises over the rooftops across the street, and the cats watch, rapt. Quiet as the coffee deepens its creamy, sweet acidity. How many mornings have I woken like this, early, and called to listen at the window of the unknown? Sometimes it speaks to me. Sometimes it listens back. If you have not seen that short, go check it out. It's a couple shorts ago. I really love how James Cruz, the editor of this collection, kind of weaves the poems to have very gentle themes within them. Yes, exactly, Debbie Sue. Sometimes it speaks to me. Sometimes it listens back. And Miss M, call to the window and listen to the unknown. Okay, so I'm going to jump into teaching for a second, Pam. One of the things that's so great, if we stand at a window and we look out not looking for something, kind of like I think what the poet's talking about, but just to gaze out the window, I'm told that's really good to calm ourselves. To just like not to be, I think sometimes as humans, we always want to seek, we want to find the answer, we want to solve the problem, we want to get to the end zone, we want to score the points, we want to do the miles, we want to whatever. And yet sometimes just looking out over a view and gazing. When I first moved to California, I was 15. And back then, I lived in Dana Point, which is a beach city. We're going to be visiting there. We're going to go down there soon when I'm out of this position. Hey, how are you doing? Okies Eden is here. By the way, y'all, Okies Eden is one of the most supportive YouTubers out there. If you don't know him and follow him, yes, Simply W. Sue knows him. Please follow him. He is so supportive. Recently, he featured me on a post in his community. And all these people came to visit, and they all came to interact with me. And I just am so grateful. He also does a lot of, yesterday he did a live with checking out all the seeds that his community had sent him, because he does gardening, amazing gardening. And he was showing all the seeds and talking about the quality of seeds. And it's just, you can learn a lot. And it also reminds me of, oh, you do? Okay, cool. He reminds me, my dad, like he talked about burpee catalog or burpee seeds. And my dad, the one who was the site steward that we talked about earlier, he used to love burpee catalog. He would have that, this is old school. He would have that burpee catalog right next to all the mystery books stacked up on his table beside him. And he would just look over that thing and choose the seeds for that season's garden. And while he was in his later years, the last 3 decades of his life, going through his renaissance, he won so many blue ribbons for his vegetables in his vegetable garden. It was fantastic. So there you go. Oh, I saw those bacon biscuits. I saw it and I said, don't look. I want to look because my son loves biscuits and loves bacon. So I plan to check out those bacon biscuits. So My son will think I'm the most amazing woman in the world. Yeah, you remember the Broopy catalogs? Oh my gosh. My dad loved them. Legendary. Okay, we're going to keep going. I want to read one more poem that I read in a short. Again, if you read that short, you're very welcome. If you read the short, if you watched the short, it's called The Gentle Dark. And the next poem after that's Sunrise and Sunset. And then the final one, speaking of biscuits, is called Ode to Butter. You're right, Nan. He is. So we have 3 more poems to go, ending with Ode to Butter. In case you're wondering, what's she going to read next? Is it any good? Do I want to stay and listen to these poems? Like, what's the point? This is the point. The point is to get to know one another and to hear poems and to be touched by them and feel better. My my hope is always that when people leave my lives, they come out at the end happier and hopeful and optimistic and joyful. And perhaps they'll come away with some new words or some new feelings that they didn't know. And that's why I read poetry. All right, here we go. The Gentle Dark. And I think her name is Susan Varon or Susan Varon. Okay. The gentle dark surrounds the house, meaning no harm. No sirens, no calls of wolves or coyotes, no ominous rumbling of thunder. Nothing at all to remind me that when I step outside, there's a world waiting. I could be living at the end. I could be the last human standing. Hallelujah that this is not so. Hallelujah for the gradually lightening sky in which I see my actual world shining through the blinds. Not my past world of New York neighborhoods and friends, but this lovely, sun-dappled world of now, of trees and growing things. I hold my breath a moment and then exhale. Yes, I welcome with open arms another sweet and necessary day. My friend Kim, who is listening while she's cooking or doing chores, she loved that final line. I welcome with open doors another sweet and necessary day. Yes, the world shining behind the blinds. Right now at the table where I'm sitting, I'm looking out over, well, it's a neighborhood tract home, but the light coming in off the kitchen window is especially pretty. And it reminds me of my kitchen window in Bakersfield, where I once sewed what I call the happiest curtains ever. Made me happy to sew the curtains, and it made me happy to see them in my kitchen. All right, so we're going to read Sunrise, Sunset, not the one from Fiddler on the Roof, and Ode to Butter. So beautiful sunny day here in Jersey. Is there still snow? I wonder if there's still snow. I almost feel guilty posting sunshiny California. It's beautifully sunny now. The fog went away. And so after I'm done here, I'm going to go for a walk. And I'm going to, there's some really nice murals here in Fresno. I'm going to take photos of, maybe some video. I might even do some video attempting to juggle with a book on my head. We'll see. Of course there is still snow, says Can Row Hiking Happens. Okay, how about Sunrise, Sunset by Jacqueline Suskin? This is another West Coast poem, just because of how she describes what she sees in sunrise and sunset. So here we go. At least I'm guessing it's West Coast, probably because I lived in the West Coast for so long. Nothing can keep me from watching the first light rise over the eastern mountains. This is what makes me sit still. Not sleep, not a lover, and nothing can prevent me from soaking in the final gift of sun as it bleeds brilliant over the western mountains. This is what calls me to repeatedly walk toward the Pacific. I have to commit to something in this life, and a flaming circle in the sky seems right. The best attempt at ritual and routine, guided by light. That's Sunrise, Sunset by Jacqueline Suskin. I love that because that's how I am. I love my sunrise and sunset. One of the hopes I have for after I'm done in Fresno is to do some lives on the beach. Some of the beaches that I went to in high school in Dana Point. They're quite different than when I lived there, but they're gorgeous still. Not quite in the same way. But I would love to take you there. All right. I know, the flaming circle in the sky. Committing to something in this life, the flaming circle in the sky seems right. All right, who's ready for some butter? Who's ready for some butter? White rice, steamed white rice is a great butter holder. It is one of my favorite comfort foods, strange as that sounds. I haven't had any for a long time. But on my birthday one year, some of you might find this funny, and I'm making a video that includes some of these stories that my friends are telling about me. But a birthday that I had in excuse me, in 2015, always ready for butter. In 2015, my friend Jenny threw me a surprise party. And she threw me a surprise party. My birthday's in January. It's cold, even in Bakersfield. I love all the stuff about butter. And so she planned an outdoor, like in the riverbed, which is in California, otherwise known as an arroyo, a river where there's no water, arroyo. And she planned a surprise party for me out in the dry riverbed with a fire, a roaring fire. And one of my friends brought a rice cooker filled with steaming white rice, couple sticks of butter. My other friend brought egg salad sandwiches, because these are some of my favorite comfort foods. And that was a great birthday party. Hi, Adela. So good to see you. And they talked about this when they were talking about memories of Julie. Someone remembered that party. Several people who were at my party this year were at my party that time. One of the most unique. Okay, 11 people and 11 likes. I don't know if that's what you're saying, but I have to mention it. 11, Make-A-Wish. So anyway, butter. Love it. Ode to butter. Here we go. I might have to read this one twice. It was fabulous, Kim. It was amazing. It was so thoughtful. Jenny was so thoughtful. And my friends were like, that was the weirdest party we've ever been to. And it was really fun. Sitting out in the middle of Bakersfield. Back then, there's a highway that goes nearby now that they've built. But like there's coyotes. That's where I've howled at coyotes, where I've probably talked about that. But it's just like a little bit of wilderness in the middle of the city where you can build a fire and you won't get stopped or anything. Yeah, weird is. Oh, Rochelle! Oh my gosh, Rochelle is my friend, a Periscope friend. So good to see you. Actually, we were blogging friends first. Oh, and look, Rosani's here. Yay! You got to hear me wax on a little bit. So good to see you all. Okay, so I'm going to read Ode to Butter because I know that some of you are like, what the heck? Where's the butter poem? Please, if you haven't already liked this live, I'd appreciate it oh so very much. Thank you so much. Hi. Okay, Ode to Butter. To its sweetness and salt, to its sunshine in a stick, spreading in sheets of gold over a cob of summer corn, a halved blueberry muffin. To its chameleon nature, crisping and softening and browning and caramelizing everything it touches. To the sound its waxed paper wrapper makes when a knife is sliced through it at the blue line. Satisfying. To a friend who once answered, well, do you want it to be good? When I asked if this butter was enough, and who watched without judgment, with motherly approval as I sliced in more and more. To the way it goes straight to my thighs, themselves butter-like in their softness, their pleasingly elastic firmness, the way they too spread, golden, are sweet and salty. To the sound they make swishing together, satisfying. This permission I give myself. Have blueberry muffin, yes. Is there ever enough butter? I don't think so. Well, I think the muffin gets sliced and halved, and you put it on the other. I've been known to eat a muffin, take a bite, butter on the bite, another bite, butter on that bite, butter on that bite. Oh yes, Tracy made sourdough in her video today. Oh yeah. Okay, that is so fun. So fun. I saw Tracy's. Oh my gosh. Do you see what Kevin made last night? Kevin cooks in his household, and he made shrimp scampi last night. Grilled muffin with butter. Oh my God. Look at this. This is like butter love. But how many of you woke up this morning and said, I'm going to listen to a poem about butter? I am going to enjoy a poem that is an ode to butter. And speaking, I don't know if Pam is still here, but Pam talked about when we read poems, sometimes what we think about are teaching, because as teachers, and you think about junior and high school students whenever you hear a poem. To me, this is how you get students. You teach them, or you read a poem about butter, and everybody connects to it. Oh, you are here. So, oh my goodness, he's a churn butter. How fabulous. That's fabulous. So, there is a book that I read that is called, I've said they need to teach this. They need to teach history with this book. And it was called Harriet Tubman Live in Concert. Harriet Tubman Live in Concert. And it is such a blend of genres, but you learn a lot of history in it. And I think that because it's so funny, the kids would hold on to more of the history if they were taught with that book. Oh, okay, I'm gonna slaughter that word. Homemade pierogies. Did I say it right? Ro would like to be known that she spent 6 days making homemade pierogies. Well, Ro, that is fantastic. I've never had a homemade pierogi. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I can pronounce all kind of weird Spanish language foods. If you have some Spanish name, I can pronounce that one pretty well. Although you might know that from how I appear, I probably don't have any Spanish heritage, but I'm pretty good at pronunciation. Okay, good. I'm so glad you love pierogies. Oh, it's your family tradition. That is fantastic. I love that. A lot of my friends who are from south of the border make tamales, and it takes a long time to make tamales. And it's like a whole fun celebration. So my mom did not like cooking, so we don't have any big cooking traditions. Sometimes we do baking, though. I'm so glad. Thank you, Adele. Is it Adele or Adela? Oh yes. We bake in my family, and when Catherine got married, she was shocked that Donald's family didn't do all of the holiday baking, because it's like, okay, it's November, let's start baking. And so we do have that tradition. And that was passed down. My mom loved to bake. I think with 6 kids, she just didn't. 6 kids who would always complain about what she cooked, she just got over cooking quickly. And she was always in a big rush. All right, well, one last call for likes. We're here for 33 minutes. I try to keep it to half an hour, but I know the ode to butter was just too much. We just had to do ode to butter. By the way, this is for my juggling. I juggled today. My first juggling short will be out today. I'm very excited to share that with you. Just a little plug for my own stuff. Oh, Adele, just like the singer. Okay. One of my good friends is named Adela, so that's why I think I went to Adela right away. So it's good to have you here on the live. Any last thoughts? If you want to say anything to the people who are here, that'd be great. Otherwise, we're going to be checking out in 35 seconds. Oh my goodness, that was really, really fun. And I'm really excited to be out in the sun. I'm not sure how warm it is. I'm guessing it's in the 60s. Sorry, New Jersey friends who still have snow. Thank you so much, Pam. Thank you, Debbie Sue. Em, if you're still out there. Kim, if you're still out there. Yes, have a great day. Oh, Nancy, glad you're still here. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you don't all just go out and eat a stick of butter now. I know that was a great poem to end on. I'm so glad you love them. One more plug for James Cruz. We're going to keep working through or enjoying his books for the next few sessions. I got 3 so that I could have them through the rest of my trip. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Adela is in Spanish. She's from Cuba. That's right. Okay. Thanks so much. And I hope to see you here next week. Take good care.